What's going on, guys? I believe I have everything set up correctly. I'm sure people will tell me if I don't once we get moving here. Okay. Alright. I believe we're all sorted out, so if anybody notices any problems, definitely let me know. But otherwise, I'm sure I've got the chat pulled up and we should be able to hit the ground running after that. Christian says hello. Hello to you too. Jewel Rose says happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you guys as well. Alright. Cool. Looks like everything's working correctly. So, should just be able to hit continue and load right back into where we were, which was right at the start of Act 2. Which means we have a lot of things to do. I mean, provided we don't die, and we'll see how quickly all that lasts. Mud says hi. Hello to you as well. Alright, here we go. So, what we've got to do is hop off onto Footfall, so that's pretty much it at the moment. M. King says very on brand for Halloween. Jack of Cake says, what's good? Glad to catch another stream. Glad to have you back as well. Yeah, I suppose Rogue Trader's fairly fitting for Halloween. I suppose the horrors of the far future matter in that kind of way. Jewel says gonna play Veilguard tomorrow. Very, very cool. Have I got any thoughts on Veilguard? I mean, yeah, like the entire review will pretty much sum it up for you, I imagine. Salvador says it's actually you. Hello from across the pond. May the Omnissiah guide you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Alright, so first thing we gotta do is pick our secondary archetype. So I'll level up these guys real quick on my own, and then continuing our tradition of letting chat kind of pick the main characters build, we're going to let you guys pick what secondary archetype for the main character I'm picking. Because those who aren't familiar with what we're doing here, this is essentially an Iron Man run, and while I sincerely doubt I could win the competition, a way that I thought I would make it fun is just by simply allowing the chat to pick a lot of our main build. Happy Halloween, guys. Jules says blood for the blood pumpkin. That made me laugh. Trosma says hello, happy channel anniversary. That is true. Completely forgot to mention that, actually. For those who are unaware, today is officially 9 years on YouTube for me, which is pretty fancy. Alright, so I forget what we were doing with Adira, to be honest. Alright, so she has a bunch of level ups because we weren't really using her, but we're going to sort her out right away. So grab Lore Warp. Salvador says playing a Blade Dancer at the moment. Very understandable. They are very strong. We'll keep just grabbing her main powers for her primary level ups. Okay. And then I don't have any great preference for Adira, to be honest. So I think we'll just make her a bounty hunter. Not that it matters much. For Argenta, I like to take her the Arch-Militant route personally, but I know a lot of people like bounty hunter with her, so I'm actually going to try that one this time because I don't plan on using her a lot anyway, but when we do use her, we'll go that way. Jack of Cake donated to, I believe it's pounds, and said playing Resident Evil 2 and watching the stream. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Ray says 9 years and nearly 400k subscribers later. We're getting there, slowly but surely. Mohammed says congratulations. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Everybody's saying happy channel anniversary. It's kind of you. Okay, so For Cabela, Executioner, I think that pairs really well with Blade Dancer. So, no surprise there for sure. And then for Pascal, I like to make him my Grand Strategist. And then I take Master Tactician with Cassia. Abelard will be... I'm going to go Arch-Militant with him, just because that's normally what I do, and I like to give him guns as well. But if I didn't already have an Executioner, I'd be tempted to go that route with him, just to see what he could do there. I'm sure it's pretty good. Dana says, keep up. Greetings from Greece. Nice to see you as well. Victor says, caught the second part. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. All right, so this part is up for chat. Now, basically, I'm letting you guys pick the build. So whatever secondary archetype you would like to see, definitely throw it down in the chat, and then we'll kind of pick whatever sees the most. Now, personally, if I was picking this for myself completely, I'd just go Executioner. But I'm going to leave it up to you guys. I'm going to take a drink while I wait. Yeah, seeing some votes for Assassin, Executioner. Well, 1 and 1 so far. 10 the Rabbit says, I'm playing Alien Isolation. That makes sense for Halloween, very sure. Got 1 for Arch-Militant, 1 for Assassin, so 2 for Executioner so far, 2 for Assassin. Oh, really? Bastona says, let's go Mortismal. Thank you, I appreciate that. Alright. Not a ton of votes, but so far Executioner has the most. Alright. Well, Executioner it is then. So we'll go with that. Executioner is damage over time if you're unaware or just watching this in the future or whatever, because they do a great job of making damage over time effects outrageous, and they can also cause bleed with their melee hits, which is what we're going to be doing with this melee character anyway, so that will work out. Oh, Jacker Cake donated another little bit. No message though, so sorry if it's caught in the ether somewhere. Alright. Oh, there was 1 vote for Vanguard. Man, I do not like playing Vanguard at all. I hardly ever use it. I think I used it like once on my first playthrough, and I disliked it so much I've just never used it again. I don't know if that's changed since patch 1.2, if they changed anything, like significantly. I'm sure they might have, but I personally did not love it. Alright, so now we pretty much need to go onto the world map. I think they throw you into a forced space battle that's pretty easy, and then you can go to Footfall after that. Yeah. Alright. So this is just the tutorial space combat, so there's not too much to do here. Storm says even on Abelard. So I tried Vanguard on Abelard because I thought it made sense there, but I really just didn't like the way it played. Alright, so... They're going to give us a million tutorials here. Alright, so space combat is legitimately where this run has a not insubstantial chance of losing. I sincerely doubt we'll die right to this one, but it's very easy in Act 2 especially to get overwhelmed by a space battle you're not supposed to be in yet. What are my thoughts on Rogue Trader's OST? Personally, I don't have a ton of thoughts about music in general. It's just not my area of expertise. But I will say that I think it fits the setting really well, which I think is about the level of commentary I'd be able to provide. Into Gray says, Dragon Age is really good. You're correct. I'm loving every minute of it. I appreciate that. I had watched some of the early review scores, and it looks like it's sitting right at the top of mixed to mostly positive. So I guess we'll see what happens over the next little bit. SBO32 says, why aren't you playing your Game of the Year? Because I am taking part of this competition, and it's only live for a few more days, so I thought I would try to get that done. Now, very annoyingly, that guy is like right out of range of our torpedoes, and I think we'll move it this way. What made me start live stream gaming? Basically just this competition. I think in total I stream maybe like once a year. It's a pretty rare occurrence. Okay, we're gonna I think if I swing run, I might be able to hit that guy. Just out of range, because of course he is. Yeah, well, might as well drop some more torpedoes at least. Wh40k says hello, bring on the YouTube jazz. I will certainly make an attempt. Okay, so I think we'll move that there and then try to drop torpedo control if we can. I think those ones are pretty well shot. UBO says hello, Mort. Hello to you as well. So does Inpa Lang. Alright. So oh, nice. There's just a one tap on that ship. And now we can get going. Positron says, great to see you live. Cheers from Germany. Hello to you as well. I always think it's really cool that people watch from other parts of the world. Alright. So, we will repair our hull real quick. And before we do anything else, we don't want to use much of our scrap right now, but we will use a little bit of it to upgrade our hull. But the main thing I want to do right now is simply assign posts. Which is pretty much just going to go to whoever has the highest stats. But we'll see how that goes. Oh, we'll have to reassign that later because Heinrich is going to leave temporarily, which I'm pretty sure drops him off of that. Morgana says, in that case, I'm from France. Nice to see you joining the stream. Ricardo says, cheers from Brazil. Big fan. Nice to see you guys. Log says, watching from the UK. That's really cool. Truth be told, it's been a minute since I've actually looked at the... Like, YouTube will break down where people are watching you from by country. And while the US is like 30 or 40% singularly, like European countries together make up more than that. Which I always thought was really cool. Saith says, as much as he loves the Owlcat and the minigames, currently on second run on hard, and I really think you should be allowed to replay space fights. That's fair. I really do. I'm pretty sure space fights are the leading cause of death at the moment. Now, we can buy a couple of things from this guy straight away, though I don't think a ton of them are super useful. This will help out with the ship. because that is the Imperial Navy guy. He lets you buy ship parts, but some of the early ones aren't that great. I do prefer this engine, though. And the better Auspex, which is your hit chance. Now, personally, I don't like torpedoes every turn. I prefer the extra lance. And then this other stuff we'll just add to cargo so we can sell it back later. But for now, really the only thing we can do right now is go to Footfall. Favorite Space Marine chapter? I would have to say, if we're not talking Chaos Space Marines, because then it's Word Bearers every time, but if you're like non-Chaos aligned ones, I would probably say the... people are going to hate this, but it's just the Ultramarines. I just think they're neat. Plus, I mean, truth be told, they have the most readily accessible stuff about them. Ricardo says, learned a lot about CRPGs with you. Now I'm enjoying a lot more titles, so thanks. I appreciate that. I'm always happy to hear that, because it's not the easiest genre to get into, and I think pretty much everybody could see that, but hearing that I've helped people in that way is always nice. Alright, so now we're dropping in on Footfall. We've got a bunch to do here, and then we can start exploring the rest of the galaxy if we make it that far. There's one or two fights here that can be a little dangerous. Alright, now we can go see if we get attacked or ambushed, which is very on par for how everything else has been going for us thus far. Jackie Cake says they like the Salamanders and Black Crusaders. Ojal says not going trick-or-treating with the kids. I am, just a little bit later. So that, a lot of that, well, I mean, it's not trick-or-treating technically. It's like a big event, but we're going to that about, I don't know, like 7 or 8 p.m. So I got a couple hours. Alright. Lazarus is over there. Put Abelard over here. Bella over here. We'll throw Argenta there, and we'll put Cassia right here. Alright, looks like it is Pascal's turn first. He is our grand strategist now, so we'll drop his combat nodes. Not that we'll need him a ton, but still. Tried to rush Kiavagama in Act 2 with a basic ship equipment. It took me 15 replays on Space Fight. I'm surprised you managed it at all, to be honest. So, fair play, I guess. Alright, we've got all that done. We'll go ahead and activate Perfect Spot. And then we'll try to hit We'll try to hit these armored guys. They'll be the most annoying players. And then for Cabela, I think the easiest thing to do would be stop misclicking buttons for starters. There we go.
As honor ordained, the other side awaits. Trust me. Death is a blessing.
So we'll try to use her to wipe out these little guys. That should have activated Death from Above
this
again.
Goes against the tenets. The shadow
activated again, and I believe no, I'm gonna miss it by 1 because of course.
Don't touch me.
Tim Peterson says Pascal best companion. I think Pascal is great as well. I was a little, when I first started playing Rogue Trader, I was a little confused about what to do with him because his tech tree stuff is so unique, kind of like Cassia's Navigator. But her navigator stuff is a little more, I would say, immediately obvious, if that makes sense, whereas Pascal took a little bit of learning to make the most of. But once you kind of get it figured out, yeah, he's great. Alright.
Nothing of value has been lost.
Yeah, I don't think I can charge anybody. But still, pretty good hit for us. We just destroyed that guy, jeez. Alright, let me just...
Here we go.
Show me what you've got.
Talk about Cassia being their favorite. If we're talking overall companions, I would say Cassia probably is. Pascal is a close second, and then Cabela's pretty cool, the new one as well. I don't think she quite tops those two though. Okay, so I think what we'll do is just go straight after the leader.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Probably
At
should
your
have
beck and call.
hit voice of command there first.
Indeed.
But we'll throw some temp HP on Abelard as he took a pretty big hit there. Do I like Wrath of the Righteous or Rogue Trader more? Wrath of the Righteous, but that's mostly a setting thing. I really like Rogue Trader, and I've come to appreciate more and more of
I am a navigator.
Warhammer
not a
40k
servitor.
overall, but I would say Wrath of the Righteous still takes it. YJ says hello to you as well. Alright, so there's that.
Guided by
Move
faith.
Argenta up.
I'll do it.
Yeah, not bad. Figured she'd hit more of the cover than she did. That was nice. Alright, and now Abelard will back him
Follow
up so
my
he
lead.
can charge in and then take another swing. Dodged, of course.
Victory is imminent.
Dodged both.
It will
Useless.
be done.
Inset says, get it, Mort. Thank you.
Let's get
I don't have high hopes for winning, to be honest with you. I honestly think we'll run out of time before I even have the chance to win, even if I was able to play it every day. Because I got such a late start. But nonetheless,
The Omnissiah of the Omnissiah condemns you.
Rogue Trader got me into more of the Warhammer 40k universe. Same, though, indirectly. Not sure how much people remember at this point, but at one point I was not really familiar with it at all, and then they announced this game, and I was like, oh man, I need to learn more about that before it actually
I shall
starts.
not fail.
Coming out, of course.
As honor ordains.
Nice. Now we can end Blade Dance, which should only hit her.
Taught by the west.
And she's actually riddled down with dots at this point, but we're going to Acrobatic Artistry, which might do the job on its own. Yeah. Iswal says, fan of the Veilguard review. Bought it based off your review. 5-star general. Nice. Appreciate that. John says, yo, face reveal. Nice. John says 40k lore videos are a great pastime. Yeah, that's true. I listened to so many of them while I was reviewing other stuff. You know, when I was kind of still learning about the setting and everything, I would just sort of put those on my second monitor.
Was your biggest mistake. Regret this.
Soda Pop says you're one of my favorite YouTubers currently. Always eager to wait your content drops. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's always nice to hear. Alright. Now we're going to Daring Breach. Try to hurry up and wrap this particular fight
Already
up.
done.
Taking a little too long.
Not a problem. Nothing of value has been lost. Nothing I can't. You didn't stand a chance.
And then we can all the way up here with all that extra movement we get from Daring Breach. Favorite Warhammer game? I mean, you know, I think it's pretty obvious as the CRPG guy is probably going to like Rogue Trader here
Step
the most,
aside.
right? But
The
I will
navigator
say,
is coming.
after Rogue Trader, it's definitely Space Marine 2. I
Isn't
like,
this a
I
job for
really
the
enjoyed that
serfs?
game a lot more than I thought I was
Another
going
fur
to.
painted black.
I had a blast with that.
I'm
It's a
afraid
little,
not.
I kind of wish there was
If I
more of
may.
it, but it was still a ton of fun. Alright, this
All
should
too easy.
do it.
Nothing of value
there we go.
has been lost. I'll lay claim to the stars.
And then we basically mentioned that we've been attacked. But we have to go see the leader of the area. I think those chain swords are pretty well useless for us. We can just pack all of that into cargo. But before
They
we
say
get
a little bit of
too
humility.
far
Look
removed,
no
we
further.
will heal up and stock up med
The healing is much
packs
appreciated.
again. Tim Peterson said, your favorite Warhammer game being the CRPG, of course, it's Dawn of War 3. Nice.
Let's patch you up.
We function as one.
I've heard a ton of good things about Dawn of War, but I have not gotten around to playing it for myself just yet. That one, and I want to say, I think it's Total War 3 Warhammer or whatever it is, something like that. People mentioned Vermintide and Darktide 2, of course. What about the Inquisitor Martyr ARPG? I like that one. I played it a little bit. I've been a little too busy to get back to it, but I have enjoyed what I played of it. But admittedly, I haven't seen enough of it to really be like, this is
None
the
shall stand in my
so-and-so
way.
of all time, you know? Alright, so there's that. We can talk to Opticon over here, who is the Mechanicus trader. And we'll grab what we can from him. And we can bring him knowledge of planets. And he'll give us profit factor in return. But right now we can take up extractiums from him, which will help us get resources for our colony building here in a little while.
I won't tolerate weakness.
What build are we planning for the main character? I let chat pick it for the most part, and it's turning into warrior executioner. So heavy melee, a lot of bleeds. That's kind of the gist of it. Other than that, we're just kind of winging it.
Alpha Row, the best dock on footfall. It is clean, well equipped.
There's not too
and
much to
caters
do
a
in the
higher
dock
class
area
of traveller.
itself. I forget the
by local standards,
code
that
off the
is.
top of my head, but there's like a cargo container or something off. You can put to get into that. I forget what the answer is. I've brute forced it a couple times, but I don't remember off the top of my head what the code is. Better to go range or melee in this one. It depends on your build. It's possible to do like really great AoE burst damage with some ranged builds, and then others go the more single shot route. In my experience, melee tends to be much more consistent, but you might not necessarily get the most out of it unless you go like the bleed route, which, you know, the Executioner seems to have dominated the meta on. Somebody said 4513 on that code. When we swing back around, we might try to grab it. Oh, hold on, guys. All right. Now we are in the atrium. We'll meet a few other people here as well, but
This
mostly we're
place
going to
was
talk to the
intended to
Liege,
be
get
merely a
attacked,
hall within the
kill
temple,
those guys, and
but
then
now
keep
a
it
whole
trucking.
city has been squeezed into it.
A rational decision. Ecclesiarchy temples lack the
Tim says
critical
currently
functionality
experimenting with a operative shotgun build. That sounds like a good time. There's some cool shotguns you can grab. Alright, we're going to break up a little spat between the rabble. Specifically because they're complaining about a planet that we are supposed to be the owner of. Is Rogue Trader or Wrath of the Righteous more casual friendly? Of the two, I would say Rogue Trader. Officer Tactician still exceptionally good. Yeah, yes, it's quite good for sure. I will say they didn't nerf the extra turns as badly as I thought they did. I've mentioned this previously, but in patch 1.2 they did a bunch of rebalancing, and one of the things they curtailed there was like the endless extra turns.
None shall stand in my way.
But it looks like they still let you get pretty liberal with that if you set it up properly. It's just not as absolutely broken as it was at one point. Now it's just mostly broken still.
Successful.
Mostly they, if I remember correctly, they now limit
I rise
the
to the
number of
occasion.
times an officer can grant an extra turn to a character. Like per turn, basically. Alright, that monocle looked like it would be really good for her, because she's always popping voice of command on people. Robert says, I'd love a CRPG in the War Machine universe for Gun Mage. Yeah, that sounds pretty neat. Okay, so we went right along here. Just kind of grabbing loot as we go, but mostly we're just headed up here to the officers' quarters. You'll also find a bunch of leaflets and stuff hanging around if you want to get really into it. But there's just a little bit of loot to grab, and then we talk to the liege down here. John says basically the issue now is you run out of characters to give the extra turn to. Yeah, because of the limit, I would imagine, right? Like the number of times you can use the ability or whatever.
I'll lay claim to the
It's been a
stars.
minute, so I don't pretend to remember exactly the specifics. Alright, so we do have a quest
Because
to do
Balakan
in this
trained
area as well, but we're going
xenomorph
to talk to the
on foot.
liege first.
Fairly blatantly at that.
Would
And
love to
the
see.
Order is not in no hurry to
Crassible says I
rectify
would
the
love to see a
situation.
CRPG in the Avowed universe. Well, do I have some news for you? There's two of them. What are my thoughts on tower defense games? I loved tower defense games when I was in like high school, and you could play them on this old website called like Congregate. And I'm pretty sure that's shut down now, but you used to be able, I don't know if it's still going or not, to be honest with you, I haven't looked up in a while, but you used to be able to like download like Flash games, and a lot of them were tower defense and stuff, and I loved that. How's the replayability of Rogue Trader? Pretty good. I think if you can consistently play through Rogue Trader about 3 times and see a lot of different stuff as you go. I will say past 3 playthroughs it gets a little but like in terms of just the replayability specifically, but 3 runs for sure. Alright, so the liege, Vladim here, or Vladim, I don't know. He's having problems with riots and getting food because the people of Footfall are slowly starving. And we can step in and help him with that in exchange for, of course, money. People remembering Congregate. Alright. Now we can also trade with him as well. He doesn't have a ton of interesting stuff, though. Not until later. A lot of his early gear you can buy is kind of But later on, down here. Sorry, guys. Got a bit of a cough. Later on down here, he's got some cool weapons, but even then, I think a lot of them are outdated by the time we get to them. But once you get
Victory
to
awaits.
Act 4, they get a sort of refresh. Green Thief says hello. Hello to you as well. Alright, so now we're going to step out of here and get attacked, basically. We're going to talk to this guy who is the servant of or I think he's a relative maybe, of another rogue trader in the area. And no matter what you say here, he gets attacked and killed, so... Kurt says, what spiderweb software game would you recommend trying first? I haven't played all of them, so I'd be lying if I could give you like, oh, this one's the best type of thing, but I really love Geneforge. Of the ones I have played so far, that one's definitely the one I have the most fun with. But again, I haven't played a ton of them. Alright, so this fight isn't really difficult. It's just like a lot of early fights, kind of annoying because you got guys all the way up here that you have to get to. And the lady in the back, I believe, is a sniper or something like that. Which can certainly be a little bit annoying. Setting up our combat zones, though.
Binary override. Request
Spot.
approved. Running binary override.
Nice. Alright, Abelard. We'll have him come over here and hopefully deal some damage to
I'd
these
rather
guys.
not. I took care of this one. My place is at the fall.
Hold on.
Yeah, this guy, he's
My ears are ringing.
he does that, which is annoying. Have I checked my time compared to other competitors at the end of Act 1? I feel like spending time on discussions. Yeah, so here's the thing. Even if I were to play this every day, I don't think I have the time to win at this point because I do have other things to do. Like, I can only play for a few hours right now, so... Basically, I'm just trying to make it as fun as possible by letting chat pick the build for our main character and seeing how that goes. But that's kind of where my head's at with it. Presuming we don't die along the way, which is very possible. Alright, we're gonna run up here. It says, appreciate your thoughts. Just played through Elix due to your review, and I'm loving it. Man, Elix was such a surprise to me. I did not go into Elix expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. I had heard a lot of mixed thoughts on it, and, you know, for good reason. It's a very odd game, but man, did I have such a good time with that one.
As the tenets demand.
If the fight takes too long, the name Sniper just runs away. I would not be surprised. But getting to that sniper is really the hard part. Alright, so
The shadows will see it done.
there should be that. Oh man, I was hoping the bleed would get those guys. Didn't do quite enough damage with it though. Sylvan Valley says, I love
There is
Elix.
only
Carl says,
death,
was disappointed in
yours
Elix 2. I was
or
also
mine.
disappointed in Elix 2. After going into Elix and how much I wound up loving that game, I was,
Here we go.
had higher hopes for the sequel, I will say. It's unfortunate they shut down not long after that. Alright, so I guess... Live this fairly soon? Probably.
Me? If you insist.
So I think New Game Plus is possible for Rogue Trader. I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but I wouldn't expect it or anything. I haven't ever seen Alcat do anything like that, so... You know, it's not impossible, but I wouldn't hang my hat on it or anything. Of course, I missed a 95% chance to hit. Okay, so...
Already done. Not a problem.
High momentum.
Nice, there's our Daring Breach.
I'll bring
That should give me
glory
the
to my
movement to
bloodline.
jump straight
My
to this guy,
tactics are
and
flawless.
we'll see whether or not I can hit him enough to kill
Suits
him.
my purposes. All too easy. There's nowhere to hide.
There we go. Come on.
Suits my purposes.
Ah, of course he got the dodges.
Already done.
Let's get to it.
Graspel says they didn't know they Piranha Bytes shut down. Yeah, so I heard the founders spun up a new studio, like obviously very small, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's the end of games like that, but yes, Piranha Bytes got shut down.
The Omnissiah.
Is there any Steam Deck game you would recommend that doesn't have a high barrier of entry? Cult of the Lamb. Like, if you want to talk about my favorite game to play on Steam Deck, it's Cult of the Lamb. That's such a good time, and it's perfect for that particular bit of hardware. And it doesn't have much of a barrier to entry. Whoa, just destroyed that guy. Pretty much 11. Yeah, so we dealt like over 100 damage to that guy with just damage over time effects, if you're wondering why people like Executioner so much.
God Emperor, move through me. Be the fire in my heart.
Helix is the best Eurojank game. I would have to agree. I really
Let
love
me tend to
Helix,
your
the
wounds.
first one.
Ah, careful now.
Alright, so that just leaves us with these three guys, pretty well tapped out. I don't know if I can... I have one angle on that guy. That's pretty much it. And then Cabela should be able to kill the rest of them. Well, I don't know about these armored guys, actually.
Trust me. As honor ordains. Death is a blessing.
That guy keeps parrying us. But I might be able to...
The shadows will see.
Oh no, I'm out of AP, so I can't hit... I was hoping I could acrobatic artistry, but... wasn't able to make it happen. That's alright, though. He should be dead.
Forge
No.
ahead. Not a problem for me.
Abelard is the best brother character since Garrus. He has, like... uncle energy to me. Like, you know what I mean? Not exactly your dad, but like an older mentor type of thing. I wouldn't necessarily consider him my best bro. Well, that's just me, at least. Okay, so we don't... Oh, we might as well take the chain axe, actually, and then... I gotta keep an eye on her swords. I think that's not bad. We'll replace his chain sword with that chain axe, I think, and then that'll be it for right now. Make sure we grab all of those bits of loot over here. And there's one quest we'll do
It's
here in the
about time.
atrium before we move on. Well, two, I think, but still. So we gotta talk to the priest guy over here. Robert says gotta go, but glad to see you live for a bit. Thank you, I appreciate that. Alright. Sean says I am that uncle, so it probably resonates with me. Fair enough.
Follow my
Kurt says
lead.
elder best bro. Fair enough. That tracks. Alright, so we gotta come up here, talk to the priest here. On behalf of Argenta. And he'll let Argenta accompany you, but he wants you to investigate some stuff first. And he also serves as a vendor. Oh, I don't remember what the Bloodhound staff does. Navigators. Yeah, that's probably better for Cassia than her basic staff. Yeah, extra willpower and stuff. Not that we use a staff with her a ton, but still. Alright, and then before I forget, actually, I want to give her that Rebel sniper rifle. And then the Bloodhound staff in the appropriate spot. That'll do for now. That will throw some of this stuff into cargo that I've been hanging on to for no reason. Alright, and then there's one more quest over here we can do with Fidelio.
Weakness.
Rogue Trader's such a breath of fresh air for 40k setting. I could definitely agree. I'd be lying if I said I played every one of those games, but it's, comparatively speaking, it certainly seems a lot deeper. And I can see why those other games do what they do, because there's that big focus on like war and strategy and stuff, but this allows you to get into the nitty-gritty of it, and it's a very different approach than those games. So I can definitely appreciate what you're saying. Alright. Because we announced ourselves publicly when we arrived here, you can't pretend to be Fidelio. But there's basically two big sides to this quest we're about to do. There's a funeral, and this rich pirate left everything he owns to someone that nobody recognizes or knows how to find. And you can announce yourself as that person at the funeral, and that plays out very differently because everyone then wants you dead. But if you came here and announced yourself publicly as the Rogue Trader, then that's not an option because they just immediately recognize you are the Rogue Trader.
The Emperor favors me today.
So you can't pretend. Alright. Is it not gonna let me?
We should
None
deal
shall
with this.
Yeah, I'm
stand
not sure
in
it's gonna
my
let me
way.
mess around with that too much at all because of the announcement there. Alright, Shutter Shotgun, which is pretty cool, but probably not something we'll use. That is a better bit of armor for Cassia, though, and she doesn't parry at all, so that part doesn't matter. Have I thought about making a favorite CRPG companions list? I've done like one or two things like that here and there. Alright, I don't think I can do much else here. Because of our announcement as the Rogue Trader, I mean. Don't think it'll trigger. But yeah. Now we can do everything else. Which is go back to the dock or go to the Shadow Quarter. Which I think we'll go ahead and do, because there's not much for us to do on the ship at the moment. It's not super concerning, but there are like 1 or 2 fights here in the Shadow Quarter that
Something of interest.
if you get unlucky can go pretty poorly.
And I was last on footfall.
Guy with
I
a
used to take
flamethrower
my
in the
weapon
corner, and then
wander this area,
part of
anticipating an
Argenta's
encounter
quest
with
as
a
well
mutant
has a
or
demon that can be
bandit.
annoying if you get some bad rolls.
Why are your recollections of this so blue? And the more you talk about it, the darker the blue becomes.
And you can also meet one of our
Need
other
to
companions
investigate.
down here as well, which we'll go
This
grab
ocular implant
first,
was a
just
worthwhile
because
investment.
that starts that quest. But with any luck, we'll be out of footfall in no time.
Oh my, this place has so many colors. Every shade
You
I
can also meet one of the
imagine is
other
floating in the
vendors
air.
down here, I believe.
A machine gun grants me insight.
Stop. There.
John says the flamethrower is definitely an early quest that frustrates me the most. Yeah, that one guy in that part of the fight is a lot.
The Vizier. Would he be proud? Am I?
And here's the introduction to another one of
Have
our
we met?
potential party members.
Greetings, ship. I have heard a great deal
If
about
you
how...
arrived incognito, you can pretend not to be.
Shireen, glad to see you in good...
Which will give you the quest to go help her out with a
Unexpected
situation with the Liege of Football, or Footfall.
I'll
I
lay
always mess
claim
that up
to the
sometimes.
stars.
Oh, alright. And then over here there is another vendor. And we can use that password we got over on the prison planet in the Rycan system to get a little bit of a discount. Oh, this one's kind of rough. That guy just ends it.
Duty prevails.
Halt! I noticed something.
But yeah, Riza over here, or Riza, has some stuff for us. In particular, a greater, or a better weapon for Abelard straight away, I believe. Yeah, for the most part. Slightly less min damage, but still. And then the Swashbuckler Cloak. We'll get more use out of that more often. So we'll switch over
I
to
won't
that.
tolerate weakness.
Open this, and then we can start doing some of the fights around the Shadow Quarter that hopefully won't murder us. Things have been going pretty well so far, so shouldn't be too bad. But basically there's, in the Shadow Quarter, there's Jay's quest, there is the quest for Argenta, and the Anvers gang. Rashid says hello, hello, nice to see you as well. Alright. Trying to think what order I want to do these in.
It's about time. What is that?
Let us see what I found.
See? Right there.
I think it's this door. So a lot of these doors are trapped for Argenta's quest, yeah. And if you click on the wrong one, you potentially could take, I think it's a landmine to the face for an injury.
We need to investigate. Halt! I noticed something.
Sins hidden in the heart turn
You also have to
all
watch
to
out
decay.
for traps, of course.
I better myself through my service.
Over there!
Cast your eye there.
As you can see.
Never doubt me. Duty
None
prevails.
shall stand in my way.
But then we just push into the cultist lair. Oh boy, you look exactly like you sound. Good to see you, good sir, and good luck. Thank you, I appreciate that. See, the funny thing is, I always think I sound exactly how I look because I am me, of course, but not everybody always thinks so.
Take a knee and bow before me.
The masters demand your death.
Now, I will say, I don't know what it is about hitting 30, but I have started to look exactly like my biological dad, which is, trippy. Alright. So, the main problem is the demon, but there's also the cultist leader who can be a problem as well.
Running binary override.
But as usual, drop down our zones.
Spiritual prognosis is favorable.
Perfect spot. And then AoE with the plasma.
Denied.
Green Thief says wearing your glasses today. Cool. Yeah, sometimes when I'm streaming it glares a little in the camera, so I don't like wearing them. But if I play games too long without them, I tend to get headaches, which I try to avoid, as you might imagine. Alright, now, a bunch of enemy turns. That manifestation hurts. That page 4 is rough.
Just a minor setback.
Man, we got a terrible initiative roll on this.
Absurd.
Yeah, there goes Abelard.
Chaos guides me.
Well, that went terribly for an opening round. Alright, so... Dang, how much health?
I shall not fail.
We'll jump over here, try to kill this guy.
Trust me, Count. The other side
We
awaits.
can jump.
As the tenets demand. As honor ordains.
Blade.
Death is a blessing.
Give us another jump. And I think that'll be it.
The shadows will see it done.
It says volume kind of low compared to the ads. Yeah, sorry, I don't have a terrible amount of control over that. I mean, I could bump up the decibels, of course, but that's about it. Okay, so our main guy. I think we're going to attempt to take out as many of these cultists as quickly as we can here.
All too easy.
Of course they dodged. Oh, jeez.
Nothing I can't do. Opposing me was your biggest mistake. Suits my purposes.
Carl says I haven't played the DLC yet, but it looks interesting. Depsy says love how everybody's streaming Dragon Age and is all up in arms. Then we got Mort over here, just doing my thing. Yeah, I don't really worry about that stuff too much. But also, this competition is happening. Now, that said, this fight is not going well. So Pascal's almost dead. Abelard's already down. I got a terrible initiative roll there.
Faith without deeds.
Probably should have done that before I shot, but still.
Doubt is for the weak.
Okay, so
I'm not accustomed to
469.
being ordered around. Isn't this a job for the servants?
bring it down. We'll try to do our best here to deal some damage to these cultists. There we go. Now we're talking.
stand a chance.
Try to get back there to that guy as quickly as we can, more than anything, and then
Already done.
we'll deal with the horror after that. But
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
I almost got that guy. Alright. Alright, Pascal's in a bad way, because there's very little chance of him just not dying here, because I really can't do much else. What I could do is throw a grenade, of course, to try to kill that guy, or just, hit him normally and do as much damage as I can. So I think Pascal's going down pretty much no matter what, so we're going to try to give ourselves the best chance possible to just get rid of this guy at least.
Running binary override.
And we'll at least expose weakness on that guy before he kills Pascal. Oh no, he's going for Argenta. Wouldn't have been my first choice, but I'll take it. Nevos, I just wanted to come by and say thanks for all the Wrath of the Righteous content. Tried to get into it, but eventually it just clicked because of the guides. Thank you, I appreciate that. Always happy to hear that was useful for people. I know Pathfinder is such a dense system. It can be very difficult to parse it
Death
on your
comes
own.
in silence.
Grassable says, didn't get too far into this game, but Argenta always seemed like the least helpful. It depends on how you build her. She can be really good, but
Trust
in
me.
the early game especially, I think she's a little lacking in comparison to everybody else, for sure.
Caught by the web,
Yeah.
as honor ordains.
We'll bring our guy up here to take out that cultist leader. Or at least try to, anyway.
Let's see how they respond to this. Suits my purposes.
Yeah, I was hoping I would be able to charge from there. Wasn't sure if it'd be long.
Watch and learn.
Wonderful.
Not a problem for me.
Alright, that guy is down. You talked to him after the fight, so that's why he looks like he didn't actually die. Okay, and that leaves us with the demon, which is going to turn into 2 demons as soon as we
Absolutely not.
kill that one. Alright, we're going to
As the
dash out
Emperor
of there.
commands, I act. I'll do it.
and then just start damaging this thing as much as we can.
Momentum.
Battlefields are always drowned in scarlet.
Okay. How can we get the most out of... That's a full heal, isn't it? I feel like... I forget which upgrades we put to Finest Hour. No, it's not that one. There's one of those that like fully heals the character it hits, but I might be thinking of something else. Alright, so... Obviously we can give everybody, somebody an extra turn, but... They're too far away to buff, which is slightly annoying, and I can't reach it with Bring It Down, so... I would much rather give that turn to our main guy if possible, just because that is of course more useful to us, but
In the
it's
name
unfortunately not
of
going to be
House
quite as
Orsarion,
effective as I was hoping
I
for.
shall prevail.
Tron says Act 3 companion is actually what he's supposed to be now. Yeah, I think a lot of the changes they made to like dual wield combat and stuff make more sense for Marazai. Ah, we're gonna miss it by 1. That's what I was afraid of.
All too easy.
But we're still gonna get close. Start attacking this guy and dealing some actual damage
Suits
here.
my purposes. Nothing I'll pass. Not a problem for me.
The next time we hit, after his turn rolls around again, we'll be better. But this now allows us to
That is foolishness.
hit him with Bring It Down. Attack again.
Nothing I can't do.
And we'll hit Endure again, just in case.
Suits my purposes.
Alright, and then once his turn rolls around, again, if this guy is not dead by then already, he should be. Oh, the other one, Ulfar. Alright.
I am a
Voice of
navigator,
command, poor
not a
Pascal.
servitor.
If Argenta gets another turn before Pascal dies, we'll heal him up a little bit. But my hope is not high for that. I was hoping I could just hit him with the
Request approved. The scriptural prognosis is
grenade there, but a little too much splash damage on that one, I think. Alright. Hopefully, I was hoping he would try to run, and then I would be able to just attack of opportunity him, but instead, he of course went for
A
maximum
dance of
damage, which makes
blades and
sense.
shadows.
John says, no, they buffed Ulfar. Hey there, good evening, or other time of the day from Italy, second act ongoing. Yeah, we're still kind of at the start of it. We're just mopping up the stuff in Footfall, really. Not that we can do too much. Alright, the blue horrors get a turn. They should be easier to kill than the other one, though, so not a huge deal. We had all that temp HP on him, which absorbed a lot of the hits there.
Already done.
And these guys aren't nearly as bad as the one they came from. So, if I step over here, will Argenta live?
Rejoice in battle.
Yeah, she managed to dodge. Good.
Be
Alright, now we
strong.
can heal Pascal a little
Greater
bit.
trials lie ahead.
my frail
And just take a pot shot at this guy.
My emperor.
That'll be enough for her, for sure.
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Nothing opposing me was your biggest
Should
mistake.
pretty much be it in the bag.
My vow is to support function successfully.
Oh, that terrible initiative roll caused us some grief there. I was hoping that wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, Cassia is still ridiculous. Argenta is not as strong as she was, but she's still pretty strong if you build her correctly, of course. Alright, and then there is Argenta's little quest done. We just gotta go talk to her on the ship afterwards. We did take an injury on Abelard, of course, so we'll probably head back to the ship real quick, and then we can continue on, because we'll have to talk to some people there anyway, and that will heal him up. Alright, we can't really use that helmet on a lot of people, but we'll of course take it anyway. I think Adira, off the top of my head, is the only person who can. Okay, so there's that, and then I think there's boots for Argenta here.
Operation successful.
Or at least with her in mind, I guess. Alright. We'll have to start cleaning our inventory out a little bit here pretty soon. Now this next level should just be an ability. I think we're going to grab Gift of Torment for him, and then Wildfire, of course. We're going to keep going with her Navigator abilities. We're going to grab Scourge of the Red Tide. That's a good AoE ability. I think we'll grab Kill Zone, because that makes us harder to avoid damage from if they are standing in his combat zone that he activates it on. I think for her, we're going to go Reckless Abandon, where we can trade health for damage, basically. We're not going to use Argenta for too much longer, but we will go ahead and do, I think, Claim the Bounty is the one with the free attack, yeah. Alright, sweet. Is the new DLC worth the buy? I finished the game, but when it came out, thinking about playing again. I think the DLC is great. It adds content all throughout the main game, of course. The new companion, Cabela, here, so I certainly think so. But if I'm only building people based on the green thumbs up because I don't know what I'm doing, well then I think you're probably going to be in line with the bulk of people. Sort of, every time I stream, the green screen starts out fine, then it starts to get all staticky. Alright, so there is Argenta's stuff. We just gotta go talk to her, and then, of course, rescue Jay and do the gang stuff. So let's go back to our ship to heal Abelard's wound, talk to people, and get going a little bit. But I don't want to. That's a rough debuff for Abelard in particular, because that is a lot of his damage and stuff. And where it comes from, what is that? Oh yeah. Okay. What would I like to see Owlcat do next? I mean, more Pathfinder, obviously. But, barring that, I'm not really sure. I know they've said they've got ideas and things. They've got multiple games in development, which is apparently not including the 2 games they're publishing. So it looks like they're doing a lot of stuff. And I guess we'll simply have to wait and see exactly what it pans out. But I do hope at least one of those projects winds up being more Pathfinder. Now, Heinrich's temporarily left us, but will be joining us again. And you can take him into your party if you want, but there's really no need for that.
To the stars.
Then we can start another quest, but that doesn't come up until closer to the end of Act 3, to be sure. Alright, they'll give us the lowdown on the planets we need to go find if we are about to leave. Excuse me. Any tip for pure Pyromancer Psyker? I heard they got buffed. Yeah, I mean, you really don't have to do much. A lot of their damage is just insane now. But take your fire abilities, the one that allows you to put burning on there. If you pair Pyromancer with Executioner now, there's a Carnival of Misery upgrade that allows you to apply burning to basically everybody in the battlefield, and then that will naturally buff up what the Pyromancer is doing, so that's a great combo to go for. But honestly, their damage is just through the roof now. Alright, so Heinrichs tells us that they are investigating a cult, that is to say the Inquisition, the cult of the Final Dawn, and he needs to get to one of our worlds, Kiava Gamma, rather, but that one is the farthest away, so it takes a while to get around to that naturally. Carl says, want to do a Pyromancer main now as an Emperor botherer. Nice. Yeah, Pyromancer's great now. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Pyromancer Executioner combo is one of the people leading the competition as well. I haven't looked in a little bit, but I'm pretty sure one of them was. Alright, now we will talk to Argenta. That should take care of her quest.
Greetings. Yes, I'm ready.
And she'll tell you what's going on there and kind of more about her backstory, of course. He says we're a long way from the 1 damage ignite I used to get with Pyro. Yeah, that's very true. I found, so pre-patch 1.2, the best thing to do with Pyro was typically to use its like support abilities that wouldn't necessarily cause damage, but were still useful in other ways. Like the one that like permanently increases crit throughout the battle was really great. But now that it's buffed, you really don't have to worry about that so much. Alright, so Argenta, after you do that, kind of gives you the general lowdown of what's going on. If she trusts you. Which knocks out that quest. And now we can land back on Footfall to start taking care of the other stuff. Because there are 1 or 2 more fights left there. More extractiums. And now that we've got all that sorted out, we can go ahead and leave and do galaxy stuff if we want, or bigger void stuff, I should say. But we're not quite done with Footfall. Picked up 1 Sanctic to boost my psi rating with Spasm of Heroism a bit, and then started spamming Emperor's Wrath. Yeah, Sanctic's pretty fun. A type of Psyker, for those who may not know what that means, I suppose. Alright.
It's about time.
I think we'll do Jay's quest first, and then there's 2 fights with the gangs. Now we can also talk to the Extermination guy. Which will give us that quest. And for whatever reason triggered a new rule. Now Jay, one of our potential companions, is having some trouble with cargo over in this warehouse that we'll get. Birkin says, tried so hard to play this game, couldn't make it through the first combat, just felt boring. Fair enough. I mean, it's not for everybody.
None shall stand in my way.
Alright, basically the gist of it is that
Something of interest.
Fight everybody in here, as you might imagine. But luckily, Jay and her team are going to give us some backup, which is going to be helpful. But you have to watch out for the barrels in here, because they will get destroyed.
You'll die quickly.
And cause us problems. And unfortunately, a lot of the cover is directly next to these barrels, so it's hard to get away from them. Now, luckily, we got a better roll this time, so to speak, so...
Running binaric override.
We will get to actually attack first here and there. Alright. Just lay down our combat zone.
Approved.
Perfect spot. And then start shooting plasma with.
Running binaric.
Including shooting those barrels for ourselves. And what's more, I think, yeah, we can use his... Pascal gets a special ability, Machine Spirit Banishment, to deal extra damage to machine-based entities. there are people over here which you gotta watch out for.
Suits my purpose. None shall survive.
Nice. And I think we're probably can get
I
right up
don't have
next to
time
that
for this.
guy, but not quite to him.
Oh, too easy. Absolutely not.
Alright, now Argenta.
Guided by faith. Doubt is for the weak.
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
We can have her just kind of fire blind into the area. And since we're still using her, we might as well hunt down the prey. Oh, the Fly Pelican says, just started this game yesterday, finally. Excited to get into it more. That's awesome.
As
Definitely a
the
good
Emperor
time.
commands, I act.
Okay.
A moving target lives longer.
And Jay is in Officer, I believe. Okay, Jay. Jeez. Just took half the life of 3 of my characters. Not sure whose side she's on.
I'm here, maggot.
Let's get to it.
At least we dodged. Jeez. Alright. Now let's get Abelard out of there.
I will do my duty.
Of course.
At your beck and call.
Pretty terrible turn from Abelard.
Victory is in the target.
I was hoping we would
well struck.
actually hit with that first one. We might have been able to deal a little more there. But
Shields me.
not terrible. Honestly, Jay taking out half of our team there.
Scared yet?
Probably gonna hurt us more than anything else.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
Okay, so
As the tenants demand.
try to get as many of these guys as we can.
Trust me, let your soul be purged. As honor ordains. Trust me.
Mark says, is this GTA 6? Yes. They've actually transcended just Earth, and they're now in
I
space.
would that I could.
Alright.
I'm not
Scourge of the Red
accustomed to
Tide.
being ordered around. Isn't this a job for the serfs?
Okay, bring it down on Pascal since that's who we can actually reach. We will just take a simple melee swing at this guy. Nice.
Death whispers
Hold on.
my name.
I think everybody dodged that.
Out
Jeez.
my way. Here we go. Let's move.
Shall become like fire.
Don't leave us.
Okay, well, we lost 2 of our
That's
party
an order.
members, and that was entirely down to Jay nuking half of our party herself.
The Omnissiah.
And there goes Pascal to a plasma overcharge, because why not?
Living on the edge.
Well, this isn't looking good, guys. That might be an unceremonious end.
Never fight.
Steven says, love your reviews, Mort. Your channel has let me know about so many little games I would have missed otherwise. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I'm glad you found something out of it more than anything else. Matt Crow says, the Grand Theft Auto of the Far Auto. There is only war. Nice. Alright, man. think we might be okay just because he's doing all right, but he's stunned, so yeah, exactly. And now he's knocked down, which he might get back up from. Yeah.
Let's get to it.
Oh man. I hope this isn't how it ends, but this is not looking
I've
good.
seen worse battles than this in my time.
Graspel said Jay never said she was good at her job. I just expected a little less friendly fire. You know what I mean? If I can protect those two, I might be able to pull it out.
Another foe.
But we'll see. That's rough. Alright, that servitor's dead at least. Okay, we'll drop another Scourge of the Red Tide over here.
Grace, at least.
Should replace the other one, and then... Good grief. Okay. Can't quite get to those guys to give them any extra turns or help otherwise. Wow, Jay made this fight so much harder than it needed to be.
These ruby flashes are...
Oh, the DLCs are especially during the sale for sure.
Show me what you've got. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Emmerich says, in my opinion, this is the third
I
hardest
know what
fight in the
I'm
game,
doing.
purely thanks to
Come here.
Jay. It would seem so. Jay has done more damage
I
to
want
me
the medal
than
for
literally
that
any of these enemies have in this fight. That was ridiculous. Oh my god. He's just trying to lock those guys down with stuns, but thankfully I don't think it went through that time, so...
At your beck and call.
There's one. Oh, I think... I don't want to take the risk of these guys getting more turns, so I think we're going to go ahead and hit Daring Breach on Abelard. I was hoping we would be able to
For fun
wait until he's on the other one, but rough. Tim Peterson donated $2. That doesn't Jay make all fights harder? It would seem so. I don't like using her much at all because she's a little awkward compared to the rest in terms of like her build. So I'm with you there.
It will be done. Reduced to dust.
Alright, well that's not too bad. That guy's almost dead. He at least turned his attention to Jay's helpers.
Be careful not to cross my gaze.
Alright.
I am a navigator.
See if Abelard can
not a
finish his
servitor.
job.
At your beck and I took care of this one. A tactically sound approach. Victory is imminent.
And then...
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
That bandit sniper there is causing some issues for sure.
Me? If you insist,
Ugh, hopefully
Lord
we'll get
Captain.
this. It's gonna be tight for sure. Alright, so now we'll come down here and attack the servitor. That way Cassia has a chance to move
Nothing I
her
can't do.
area
Suits
attack.
my purposes.
Dodge, of course.
Watch my back.
Already done.
Got an extra turn there from Jay, so maybe she was trying to make up for it, I guess. Alright.
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones. At your beck and call. One fewer target.
Alright, there we go. That leaves us with this guy? Yeah, just this one guy.
Enjoy your luck while you still draw breath.
Emperor, give me strength. Isn't this a job for the...
Well, that was a messy fight, to say the least, but we did win. would I call this game more or less complex than Pathfinder? This is definitely less complex than Pathfinder. I mean, there's a lot going on, don't get me wrong, but comparatively, it's not nearly as much. Alright, now that we've resolved Jay's problem, she'll join your crew if you want her to. Or you could have just, of course, murder her outright. But for the sake of quests, we'll bring her along. So, as a companion in combat, I would go so far as to say she's probably the least used. Okay, who doesn't have boots at this point? I'll throw those on Pascal. Everybody else gets boots other way, or movement points other ways. Who is Camellia in this game out of the companions, personal story-wise? I guess Marizai would be as close as you could get, probably. But even then, that's a little bit of an awkward comparison, but that would probably be it for me.
What is that?
Alright. Grab the goods.
Victory awaits.
Be almost everything. Cool. And now we'll go back to the ship, heal all these traumas we just got, and come back and do the final bit of questing. Remy says even then the secret companions are worse than Jay. In the sense that they already have so much of their builds sorted out, so you can't really do much of anything with them, yeah. But I personally would probably use Jay less than even them. But I do agree that you could probably build Jay in a way that was better than them if you wanted to put in that level of effort.
Tolerate weakness.
If Wrath the Righteous loot is 10-10 overhaul, how would you rate the loot in this game? It's pretty good. I don't like to attach number scores to things, but I think there's a ton of stuff you can do build-wise if that's what you're after. Okay. So there's that. We'll talk to Jay on the ship while we're up here. We're going to do that anyway. Any insight I glimpsed from other players' pain points? I would say mainly just that ship combat is brutal. A lot of people have died to the ship combat. I mean, comparatively to the rest of the people in the competition, and I did kind of figure that was probably going to be the worst part of it. It's hard to prepare for some of those,
with the cargo, Sherry.
unless you play
I
through
am sure
very
the
specifically.
Ashmads who squirreled away. Oh,
Alright. Jay wants you to get a certificate for her from one of your planets, which you can do. And she also grants you some stuff, which is a great weapon for Irlet, and the two-handed weapon here isn't bad, but you have to have that weapon proficiency to use it. Giant Ewok donated to the channel and said thanks for all the great content. Hope you have a great time with the challenge run. Thank you, I appreciate that. We're doing our best. I don't know if I'll finish in time for the close of the competition. It ends on the 4th, which is in just a couple of days, and I don't have that much time to stream, unfortunately, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, we'll go Adeptus Mechanicus. She'll give us some rep with whoever we ask for. And that gives us her quest, which is honestly kind of funny in the grand scheme of things, but we won't be able to do that one for a little while. What build? It's Warrior into Executioner on a Commissar, which was dictated by chat. Alright. Back to Footfall for the last of it. Not nearly as into Argenta as a character than most, but I do love giving her a heavy bolter and murdering everything. Yeah, that's fair. I would use Argenta more if she had more strength to, like, just naturally, so you didn't have to build it up. So you could use some of those heavier weapons a little easier. But other than that, yeah.
Follow my lead.
Okay, so we got this fight over here, and then one more fight with the gangs in the sewers. This fight is not a good time. I don't like this one. I think we'll be okay, but there is a not zero chance I could die here for sure, because this guy right here is awful. I don't have a lot of negative reviews on the channel. Is that because I quit the games I hate, or don't even start the games you aren't interested? Well, there's certainly a bit of bias there, because I have the luxury of just reviewing games that only look interesting to me to begin with, so that's definitely a part of it. But the other part is that I do actually have some negative reviews. People just, I put out a lot of them, and people just tend to focus on the big ones and not the smaller stuff that I play and go, I didn't like this, but they didn't watch that because it didn't get a lot of views. So how would they know, you know? For us, it'd be no problem if we wanted to pause our normal video schedule to finish the challenge. It's not a matter of video production. It's like today's Halloween, so I got to stop here in like an hour or two for Halloween, and then over the weekend I have my son, so I don't have time to stream while we're messing around and doing fun stuff. And then when the weekend's over, the challenge is pretty much up, so I just got a late start and didn't have enough time to quite sort it out, unfortunately. Okay, so we're gonna start this fight and see how this goes.
A new challenge
This one
for
can
me?
be a little rough. I have absolutely
Heed
died
your
in this
cries
fight
of
before.
mercy.
Spare none of them.
Soul says, big fan of yours from Italy. Just wanted to wish you happy holidays and tell you it's a pleasure to follow your reviews. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Eunice asks, is this a DLC? We're in the full game at the moment, but they did add a new DLC for this recently, yeah? Alright, so that guy hits like a truck, and then we got all these guys hiding, and there's guys who will set you on fire hanging around as well. Which is why this one can be a bit rough. So we'll put Pascal right there. We'll start Cabela over here. Try to put Argenta where she can open up with a burst if she is able. Here, then she can run over where she needs to be after that. And then Cassia we'll put out of the way. Who's going first? Okay, so Abelard and our main guy will put up here just to take the blunt of these first attacks.
Request
And we'll
approved.
set everything down. The Fresh says, my boy Mort, nice to see you as well. Remy says, enjoy trick-or-treating if you're going. It's like trunk-or-treat type stuff here. I don't know if that means anything to everybody else, but I don't know how universal that is, but it's an event for Halloween.
Running by Nerek.
Alright, so...
Request approved.
Yeah, nice, and then...
The
perfect spot first.
knows all, comprehends all. The scriptural
And start reducing numbers as much as we can. Because these flamethrower guys and Cinder are frustrating. Alright, that's it for him.
Hold on.
Curse you, miscreant!
That's kind of what I was hoping they would focus on him and not take too much damage otherwise. So nice. That leaves us with our movement to get over here. The blade dance.
My blade whispers your name.
This fight can be pretty difficult if there's stun grenades. Yeah, some of them do, I think.
The other side
Of the
awaits.
fights in this area, this is my least favorite one.
As the tenets. Trust me,
All
the
right.
shadows will see it done.
Out of my way. You'll regret this. Here we go. My ears are ringing.
Another color has faded.
Yeah, there goes Abelard, turn 1. Almost killed our main
Let's make it
guy.
quick.
There's the stun grenade. He stunned his friend too, though. Alright, now the problem is I could maybe get Argenta up here to heal him, which is honestly probably what I need to do. I think we'll step up here. I think do a burst,
I'll do
dash.
it. Let me tend to your wounds.
I stand in recognition.
Try to build up some momentum here, mark some prey. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna hit him with held in my gaze, because if he fails it and he's immobilized, he becomes much less of a threat, and so I can deal with these other guys. He did. I don't know if that went through or not. No, I'm not sure. I don't think he was immobilized, but
Nothing
drop
I
that guy
can't
if
do.
you can.
Nothing of value has been lost.
And that will give us
All
a
too
swing
easy.
to hit these guys. Ah, so close to Daring Breach. I was hoping I'd be able to Daring Breach, because then I could have come back and hit Cinder as much as I could with my main heavy attack. That would have been great.
Let's get to it.
No stims. I think I only have like one or
Killing brings me pleasure.
I'll live another day.
two. Okay. Oh, there it is. Now it's just his turn, so that works out. Alright, let's
Suits
go.
my purposes. Already done. Suits my purposes. All too
Try to
easy.
buff up and hit this guy as much as we can. There we go.
I am fear incarnate. I'll pass.
If I can drop him right here, the rest of this shouldn't be that bad.
You
Yeah,
didn't
there he
stand a chance. I shall not fear.
Okay, I think we'll be okay now
Suits
that I
my purposes.
buffed up and
Already
downed that guy.
done. Suits my purposes.
Nice.
Let's get to it.
Trust me. No. Caught by the web. My blade whispers your name. Death is a blessing.
Nice. And now we're just down to that one guy over here. Yeah, I was hoping I didn't want to put it over here, otherwise I was probably going to burst my own character.
Step aside. The navigator is coming.
Lazarus here is a beast. Yeah, he's probably for for a build that I let chat pick. I managed to turn that into something useful.
I'm afraid not. I am a navigator, not a servitor. If I may.
All too easy.
Dodge, of course. How did I come up with the name of Mortismal? It was an inside joke with me and my friends when I made a YouTube channel. I've went by Mortem Online, which is Latin for death, forever. And then the joke was that I was going to start a YouTube channel and just be terrible at it, like gameplay-wise, just like that kind of thing, you know. And then so we got Abysmal from that, and it was Mortem plus Abysmal, which is the kind of thing that sounds funny when you're like 20 and you make a YouTube channel and then now you're stuck with it, you know. But it's unique, so people remember it.
Running by narrative, desire condemns you.
Alright. There's that fight. I was a little worried about that one, but that wasn't so bad.
None shall stand in my way.
Alright, his Fire Blessed Carapace is actually pretty good. We lose some deflection on it, because it's medium. But Argenta doesn't take the penalty because she's got second skin. That's actually pretty good. Jiff says, thanks for the Veilguard review. Undecided, but after your recommendation, bought it and had fun. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear you enjoyed it. Okay. That's that. Is that hammer? Yeah, it's a little less for me for sure, but I think for Abelard it's also a little less than his greatsword.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Alright, and that leaves us with one more fight, basically. Now, Abelard is hurt, and his weapon skill reflects that, but I really don't feel like going back to the ship again. So, I think we're just going to chance it and make it interesting. Yeah, hold on just a second, guys. Alright, so now we head into the Dark Hideout. My nickname is Red Pawn in Italian, my language. Didn't know how often someone would have shortened it with its 4 letters in chat. Yeah, not so much. I could see that happening. That would be rough. Luke says, and ironically now you have almost 350k subs, so much for being terrible at it. I mean, that depends on your perspective. I still feel like I might be a little bad at it. Depends on the day, you know? Alright, so the last fight we're going to do here before we leave Footfall completely.
Follow my lead.
And it's not terrible, but he turns on some poison that fills the room that you have to get up there and stop, ideally, which is the main thing. Abelard, kindly inform this bandit vermin that we've come to execute him. Those dialogue options are fantastic. Yeah, so he activates this poison thing that happens no matter what, and then you've got to get up to here in order to turn that off. Which isn't all that bad. Oh my god, quick Abelard, jeez. There we go. Okay. So...
Negligible. My competences are not that universal. The order is contrary to dogmatic protocols. My vow is to serve.
There's that. Can I reach? No. Okay, so we'll just attack what he can.
Function successfully terminated.
Not a ton of people in this fight. Mostly the issue is just the poison.
Scared yet? This'll leave a scar. Let's get to it.
Oh,
I will not die in dishonor.
and it's not too bad. Alright, I think we'll just Red Scourge with her. Right
I'm
there.
not
Leave my guys a
accustomed to
path to
being
walk up.
ordered around. Me?
And we'll
If
charge
you
our way
insist,
through a
Lord
little bit.
Captain.
Already done. Nothing opposing me was your biggest mistake.
Yeah, this fight's not too bad.
As duty demands.
Love it when the best boy Abelard introduces me. Don't we all? It's really one of the best parts about playing this, to be honest. Alright. I don't think it's going to let me get that far. But...
Suits my purposes.
we'll
All
activate
too
a few
easy.
buffs. Then start swinging.
Not a problem for me.
Out my way.
Next. Alright, unfortunately, everybody she would burst is like right next to all of our characters, so we're just gonna have to single shot.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
And now for
As the
Cabela's turn.
tenants demand.
So, my instinct is to go try to hit the switch, but I don't think that would be... I'd have to cut through a lot of damage and stuff to do that, so...
I shall not fail. Killing brings me no pleasure. I am your blade and shield.
It's a little extra movement from her boots, and then... I can focus on this guy.
As honor ordains. The shadows
And
will
just pull her back to where she
see it
was.
done.
And Tyrion says, Abelard, give this man my like and upvote. I appreciate that.
I feel nothing. Fear nothing.
So that'll be Cabela's turn. And then...
I will
Oh,
go
he just killed
like
the
you.
kingpin here. Well, if he doesn't just parry everything
Indeed.
he...
Victory is imminent.
Spend our action points before we daring breach.
No matter the cost.
I'm not interested.
At your beck and call.
Come on.
I
Kill
will
this
do
guy.
my duty.
Ah, of course he dodged like half the attacks. Jeez.
Every threat ends in death.
And there's a medkit.
Time to slaughter someone.
Injured. I'm enraged.
I am a
Well, that heal
navigator,
is super annoying.
not a servitor.
Before we have Kazuya do anything, we'll switch back to you.
Nothing I
Reckless
can't do.
again, and then
Suits my purposes. You'll regret this.
Me? If you insist, Lord Cap, as
There
duty
we go.
demands.
and killing him finishes out that quest.
For now.
Here we go.
That guy took a million swings, jeez. Alright, and then you can just
Already done.
kill these two real quick.
All too easy.
Nice.
From the ashes I will rise.
And I think that just
Doubt
leaves
is for
that
the
guy.
weak. As the Emperor commands, I act.
Then we can
I
end the
refuse.
fight
I'll do
and
it.
turn all that stuff off.
None can
There we
escape
go.
the Emperor's judgment.
Aim for the heart next time.
Alright, now everything's
I
going to
will
stop
not
poisoning us.
die in dishonor.
A new challenge for me.
And now we can safely leave. After we loot the place, of course.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Well, that fight went smoothly at least. Okay. Alright, now we can head back to our ship. We'll get started on moving the galaxy, but I'll have to call it a little bit before that. I mean, before we get too much farther. Probably about 6 o'clock here. About 40 minutes or so. Alright. Head back to the dock. Head up to our ship. We shouldn't really need to talk to anybody else. We can just jump straight into the galaxy map. But then all sorts of events and everything will start happening as we go. But this part of Act 2 in particular forms the bulk of the game, I would say. But you have to be a little bit careful. I missed talking with Rizzo about your discount. Ah, it's fine. Not that important. It just makes it a little easier to buy things earlier. If you tell her about that discount, it like cuts the profit factor of things by like 2, but it really doesn't make a huge difference otherwise. Alright, so we'll see what these guys have got going on. Unfortunately, the stuff you would like to buy the most is pretty expensive with the Imperial Navy. You got to get a ways into the game before you can start buying their upgrades to your Void ship. Now, this used to be a lot worse, believe it or not. It used to be like 6,000. They actually cut it down a lot. But we really don't need too much of this early stuff. So we do want the extractiums. We don't have enough profit factor for that just yet. I think Argenta is the only one that benefited from that, really. And now off to the galaxy. Now, Act 2, which comes with exploring all of these various individual solar systems, is a lot. And then you can also try to go back to the Imperium, of course, which goes about as well as you'd imagine. But every time we step into a new place, we can scan the area, uncover new warp routes and everything. Echo says reverb started up. Not sure. Alright, this is a DLC quest. Or a conversation, I guess. Actually, I don't remember. Yeah. So, cult and other problems start arising on your ship, which is what this is all about. This part is for the DLC. And you can decide what to do about it. Alright. Back to it, though. Do I have a path planned or go by goals, or how do I play the game? I don't have too much of like a set route planned or anything. The main thing is to try to avoid a lot of spaceship combat until you get your escort ship. That will get you most of the way there. Like, see those pirates? There's really no reason to fight those guys before that if you just don't want to. But you also can't really avoid them forever because you kind of want the trophies from defeating them at the same time, because that's how you're going to get the extra stuff you need in order to get more parts for your ship. So balancing that is the big thing. Now, it's also usually not worth it to reduce the danger of these routes until they get below yellow, just because yellow is perfectly safe. You can usually save some points by doing that. But we picked up a couple more quests, so an errand for Cabela and inspecting some stuff on the bridge. So let's go into our ship real quick. We also need to talk to one of the tech priests or the computer for part of the secret ending. Or at least where it starts, anyway. Yeah, over here. So this will lead you to a couple of caches on 2 different planets. And finding both of those will lead you pretty neatly into the secret ending part of it. I have a priority about improving ship combat survivability. Generally, just because if you get caught unaware in void ship combat, like, the chances of you dying are pretty high. So, in that sense, yes. Alright, now we need to talk to Bella down here.
Tell me.
She has a sort of bonding ritual to be your bodyguard, more or less. Which is a lead into her romance, if you want to be, as you might imagine.
Are you ready to step into the... You are now upon the... Your words have caused no... You may deem it strange. You live in a world...
Yeah. No romance for us, though. Our character lives to serve the Emperor. For those who don't know, you can invite her to a party right there if you want to, which is another lead-in, but not for us. Alright, now these major ones I will usually make the effort to reduce down to safe, at least. Because some of these you have to go to pretty regularly. And it's really not worth even then just the annoying little events that can pop up that you have to try to fight if you can. We'll just scan the planets that we can while avoiding most of these guys. We can start harvesting resources as well. I think we can come down here and grab this one if we're careful, though. Alright, cool. Then we'll nope out of those fights. Gives you a quest for Cassia, who's struggling to fit in because she is a mutant. Which is just one part of everything she's got going on this chapter. You have to come back here later. You can't do much. I don't think you can do anything with that until Act 4, if I recall correctly. Then we can get a bunch of resources from this one. Stuff to trade, I should say. Don't need... Gotta be a little careful because plasteel is the most common resource you can set up extractiums on, but the problem is you get so much of it that it's really not worth it to assign an extractium to the stuff that just has like one. Alright, and then there's part of Adira's quest. You get a lot of little random events when you start Act 2. Normally it's not quite that much. That is an anomaly. We will grab the Xenotech though. We'll leave that for the moment, but we'll probably need it later. Ugh. This part's not the most exciting stuff in the world. A lot of setting up for later more than anything else. We gotta get to Janice, of course, but I want to say it's Dargonis that gives you the escort ship, though. I mean, there's no reason not to do Janus first, because it's the closest by, but still. Now, I do need to go handle Adira's side quest. Which is basically just a fight where you choose whether or not to kill her.
These rumors
For
about
being
Lord
a
Captain
psycho.
Sigmar, surely you do not believe them?
I better myself through my
We need to
service.
investigate.
This is a pretty small little room, but we'll level up real quick before this fight. I think at this point we might as well grab some of that stuff. And then... what's the one that... There it is. You can improve wildfire for the Archmilitants. I want to do that with him, and then for Cassia, more navigator stuff. And now for Pascal, we can grab improvements to his grand strategist stuff. Mostly just pretty straightforward grabs at this point, though. We'll pick up Melta proficiency for her. We'll need it later.
It's
Alright.
about time.
Now to save Adira. Now, if I was going all in, we would kill her right here, but that would exclude us from quests later.
Stop it!
But either way, gotta fight. So,
The scriptural prognosis
as usual, the pink horror is the worst. The blue's a little less so.
request approved.
And the
Request denied.
other guys are kind of whatever. They're the fodder types.
Running magnetic override. Requests approved.
And can't get both of these guys, unfortunately, so I think we will just take a single shot.
Significant value.
Alright. Start dropping some of these dudes.
An offering of blood.
We'll hit with
That's not the Seneschal's job.
sworn enemy and do what we can here, which is not a ton. Oh, that guy. I think one of them cast Warp Shield. That's frustrating.
At your beck and
I
call.
didn't notice. Alright.
You miscreant, serve the ruinous powers.
We'll send Cabela down here to try to wipe out all of these little guys the best we can. No, dying ourselves anyway.
Trust me, death is a blessing.
Because if I hit that barrel, it will explode.
As honor ordains. Trust me.
That was a little underwhelming. I was hoping she wouldn't be parried there.
Death for the weak. Chaos guides me.
Is a prey.
He is still warp shielded. What about you? Okay, so I'll have to come down here and missed the one on the stairs. Try to kill some of these blue horrors at least because that other one is shielded.
Nothing I can't do. Not a problem for me.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
We'll bring it down on Pascal just so we can get this worker
If you
off the top
insist, Lord
of
Captain.
Cassia here. And it's just his turn again anyway. And start bringing down his defenses as well so we can make quick work of him once the turn rolls around.
I've suffered worse. Victory is imminent. Indeed. I'd rather not. At your beck and call.
Not that it's doing much good with Abelard here. PM says, "Oh, nice. This is where I always killed a deer." Yeah, if I was going truly dogmatic, that's what we would have done. That's where I killed her on one of my first playthroughs, actually. This Syria says, "Hi, everybody. Hello to you as well." All right, so Cabela's turn here. We will run over and try to kill that guy. I guess he doesn't have any death from above charges at the moment.
Come, the other side awaits. I shall not fail. Trust me.
Back and pass it on. Now we need to
As the Emperor commands.
focus on this warp beast. I'd say if I could stop missing the thing. Jeez. Probably should have marked it first. I always forget to do that.
This is unacceptable.
That's the way to do it.
Doubt is for the weak. Faith without deeds is worthless.
So he says, fell asleep to 40k lore and wake up to a Mortem stream. I mean, I'll take it. Alright, okay. So our main guy was stunned. That sucks. Now that his shield is down, we should be able to actually get some stuff done
If I
here.
may.
Try to move him a bit closer for starters. I don't think I can. Yeah, that would have been a very awkward charge for sure.
Already done. Suits my purposes.
Isn't this a job for the serfs?
And then Pascal can.
My vow
kill that guy. We're pretty close to it anyway. It's unfortunate. Say potato. I think not. Except that one time I just said it. Isn't burst fire good versus a single target? When my companions here are not around the target to also get shot by the burst, yes, burst is pretty good, even against a single target. Maybe says sounds like the sound issue was under control. I think so. I'm not exactly sure. Be lying if I said I was super good at that kind of thing. Okay. That's it for you.
Cleanses the body.
With any luck, we can wrap it up here.
It will be done.
Daring breach, but
I'm not interested.
the problem is, even if we daring breach, he's still gonna split once we kill him. Because the pink ones do that. But might as
We'll
well.
rule the stars themselves. I will do my duty.
And if I could hit him to
will be
begin.
done. At your beck and call. That's not the seneschal.
There we go. Now we got those two.
Death to non-believers!
The shadows will see it done.
Well, if the reverb is still there, I'm not hearing it. Well, that's good.
As the tenants
I listened back to the stream from yesterday where people were saying there was reverb, and
Death is a
it
blessing.
was. I don't know. It was kind of fitting for Warhammer, if anything, so I didn't hate it.
Mercy in retribution.
Tim says you gotta say potato so we know you're real. You could 100% that many games in such a short time. Listen, I may or may not be an AI. It's fine. It's not a coincidence my art looks like a servo skull, I guess.
I shall not fail.
Alright.
I'll live another day.
I'll do it.
Ah, you're killing me, Argenta.
I've suffered worse.
All too easy.
Let's pop our buffs here and then
Not a problem for me.
run in.
Nothing I can't do. Suits my purposes. Not my specialty. Nothing I can't.
There we go.
I
Alright,
am
we
a
have Cassia hit
navigator,
him. Jeez.
not another foe painted black. If only that were possible.
A little too far away, that sucks.
That is foolishness.
There's a reason he isn't visible from the waist down. There we go. Jeez, that took a minute. See, the dogmatic options are to just kill Adira immediately, but we need her for quests later for the competition, provided we get that far. But it is typically where you would just silence her as a dogmatic character. Oh, I think I accidentally... the dialogue skips too quick, and I think I accidentally clicked the wrong thing suddenly. Oh no, okay, she's alive. Cool, she just passed out. I was like, the dialogue skipped through really fast, and I thought maybe I'd hit the wrong one. That was worrisome.
A new challenge for me?
Alright, loot everybody. Not that there's much loot here to be had, to be honest. Mostly just
You
junk.
are in the presence of House Orcelio.
When we head back to the bridge, we can talk to Cassia for her little errand real quick. And that's probably where I'll have to call it roughly, because I am going to have to go here in just a few minutes. Oh, yeah. Now, if you can pass a bunch of checks, you can make her feel better about some incidents between her and the crew where she's been struggling to get by, or of course you could just not do that at all. Alright. So there's that little bit done, and with that, I think we will count our completed quests before calling it, because I got to go meet my son for, well, you know, his mom and everything, really, with Halloween. But we'll complete some contracts for some profit factor. Alright, now quest. Alright, so we got 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. Ah, good lord. Switch though. Okay, so errands don't count. Other quests. And then... Okay, companion quest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Cool. Alright, so 19 quests completed for part 2 and everything, but that is where we are going to wrap it up, guys. Again, Halloween. So, happy Halloween to everybody. Hope they have a good time, or if you're doing anything, I hope you have a good time, I suppose. But in the meantime, thanks so much for stopping by. And that is going to be it for today. See you guys later.